Good afternoon everyone, this is Shabazz here from Starcom Information Technology Limited. Today I'm going to record a video of our automated data quality tool. It's a new version of automated data quality tool. It's having all the self-service data connectivity as well as customized rules. You can apply different business rules as per the business requirements. So we are offering cloud-based as well as on-premise and self-service data quality solution. So I'm logged in as an admin user in one of the on-premise solution which are hosted locally. So in this in this home page, you can see there are 4 tabs available. In the first tab, name itself, it is a database configuration where you can connect your database or you can connect your flat files. And next thing is cleansing, where you have to define your business rule for data cleansing, and then you have to set some dedupe logic. So we are having lots of algorithms and modules available for deduplication, so you can use one of them. And finally you can again connect your target database to store the process data. So let me start with one of the process. So to do this, first thing is I need to create one process. Let me create one process. Let's say test demo 1 and save that. So now the process has been created. Now I need to select that process. So once I select the process, you can see first thing is I need to connect the database. So to connect the database, you can see first thing is I need to mention name. Let's say input db and save that. So in the input db, so first thing I need to do is I need to select the file. So whether it's a flat file or database or Salesforce or SAP HANA, so we can connect to all of them. And in the database itself, database also, if you want to connect, we have lots of connections available like SQL, Oracle, MySQL. So there are so many variants available. We are trying to increase this as well. So here simply you want to simple things, say you need to mention your host name and user ID, password, and schema name, db name, and then you can connect your database. And for this demo purpose, I will use flat files. So this just I'm showing what are the connections available with us for the data quality. So files means again you have to upload that file from the location. So let me upload one file of 10,000 records. So this file is a pipe separated, so I need to change that separator to comma, from comma to pipe, and then confirm. So now I can save that. So now once my data got saved, I can see the field statistics. So in the field once again in the field statistics, let me show you what are the columns I have selected. So these are the fields I have selected, and these are the data types. And here you can see the length and the character digits is showing, and total number of counts is showing. So schedule and increment, that will happen the next once this first historical records will complete, then you can automatically schedule the process. So let's say midnight 1 AM you have scheduled the process, so automatically whenever the next morning you will log in, you will see the process data. So next thing is I need to map the columns. So in the cleansing, first thing is map the columns. So these are the list of the columns which you have imported from the database. So first thing is I need to map MSSID into unique. So here these are the list of input types available. So you map it to unique, first name to name, and middle name to name. So you can map it like this also. And it is better to use merge column, where you can merge all the first name, middle name, and last name to one single name. So I've already done that. So let me just go to edit and show you. So in this way I have already done first name and middle name and last name with the space delimiter. I have already merged to full name. Similarly for address also I have done. So in the address I have mentioned customer address 1, address 2, address 3, and city. So with the space delimiter I have merged to address, full address. So now I can just simply map those full name to name, full address to address. And then if you want to map some other things like city to city, state to state, zip code to zip code, that also you can do. And then finally you have to save the settings. So once you save the settings, next thing is you have to apply different rules. So in the rules you can see first thing is you have to select the columns where you want to apply rules. So let's say you want to apply rules in name length should not be like that, and different things. So select that name. So I've already merged that name to full name, so select that full name. Okay, and the full name you can apply leading and trailing should not be there, means all the space which are there in the leading and trailing in the name will be removed and case conversion should be proper, or if you want you can make it upper. And the text is specific, whether it's alphanumeric, so name should be alpha only, that's why I mentioned alpha. And then here replacement rule, I have mentioned two rules. So here you can see is empty, means name, if it is empty then it should replace with error 1. This means that in the final record, in the process record, you will get one additional column which will be input underscore cl, that is for cleansed column means clean column, and input underscore error, that is error code. So these are the error code you are mentioning. So you can mention any number of error code as per your business. So if it is empty, similarly if you want to mention something else like length should not be greater than 3 or greater than 4, or it should not contain something like that, so you can mention any other things. Or if you have already business rule defined in some files, you can upload that files as well and you can mention that. So if it is contains these many records which are there in the file, this should be replaced with error. And the validation rule also, validation rule I mentioned length less than should not be less than 3, otherwise error code 2. So here also same thing, so you can apply these many rules where you can mention it should not contains dollar, let's say name should not contains dollar, so you can mention name not contain dollar, and then name contain dollar, then error 0. So like that you can mention. So let me just make it like that only, which are there. And then next thing is you have to save the connection settings. So this is for cleansing rule. Now the cleansing configuration is completed. Why I am doing all this? Because I'm an admin user, so first time I have to do all the process, all the configuration, database configuration, business configuration and all. And dedupe rule means if you want to see what is there, you can click on this, it will explain you about dedupe rule. So you can, in the dedupe rule, you can see I've already applied rule for name as well as address. So name may I have applied, so here also you can select the column name, whatever the column names you want to use for deduplication. So I've already merged the name, so I've taken full name. And these are the different algorithm which we are having. So for Indian database we are having the Indian name and Indian address. Apart from that we are having exact match, Jaro Winkler, some QGram, Metaphone, Soundex. So there are different algorithms which are there in the tool, so you can use any of them as per our requirements. So since this demo data is from India, so I'm using Indian name as my algorithm, and positive percentage and negative percentage. This means that whenever the name should match more than 80%, it will form a cluster. So that's why positive percentage 80, and 10% negative means it will be recoup percentage. So whenever the name is matching but some mismatch is that 10% we can consider. Similarly here I have selected address. Here similarly if you want to add something else, so here I have selected address algorithm and 80. So if you want to add some more field, so you can always do like this and you can add some more fields. So as of now I'll use two fields, name and address, and this is the threshold calculator. So in the threshold calculator, if you give whatever columns you have selected for deduplication, here if you'll give your percentage, let's say 80% you define and 80% you define for your address also, so it will give threshold percentage should not be more than 83.4, then it will form a cluster. So better to mention 82 on the safer side. So it will calculate the overall threshold should be what the threshold should be, and accordingly you can mention. Index and block key is nothing but to index the database. So it will so to fast the process, to tune the process, we need to mention one of the column as index column. So I have mentioned customer first name as index column. And these two are nothing but if you know some of the columns which are unique and which are not duplicate, and if you want to remove straight away send those columns to unique database, unique table I can say, then you can directly select those columns and you can straight away those records with the columns will be send it to unique table. And if you want to skip comparison to some of the columns, you can select some of the columns, what are the columns you have already selected, and then it will skip the comparison. Then finally you have to save the dedupe configuration. So now I have completed here till here. Now my next thing is target connect. In the target connect, you can see I have selected file. So here also you can select database. If you want to store your data in the database, let's say you have Oracle data and you have Oracle data only, so you are using Oracle database, so for to maintain everything, so what you can do is you can we can use a staging database, Oracle staging database, and we will put our StarDQ there, and then all the process record will be stored and saved to Oracle staging database in the while connecting this, configuring this target connect. And target map column mein, what you can do is here you can define what are the columns you want, I mean as an additional column. Let's say name. So I told you let's say name and address I have selected. So I told you that we have some additional column apart from input record. We have enriched record, we have error code. Error code means the validation rule what you have applied. Based on that error code, it will generate whether the records get passed through the checks and what is the error code. So enrich means it will use our lexicon, that is our reference table, to update the address part, and it will give you an enriched address. So these two columns you will get. So if you want to see error code as well as enrich, what you can do is you can select let's say full address. I want error code as also, so it should be full address. Let's say better to give some other name, ERR, and here better to give ENR, and this is also ENR, so it will be easy to understand. Now save the target map. So the target map is saved. So once the target map is saved, you can run the process. So once you will run the process, what will happen is the process will complete. Since this is just 10,000 records, so it will complete in seconds only. So here you can see the timings. So 35 seconds is completed, and based on that you can click on data viewer and cluster viewer. So these are nothing but your final results. So this configuration is only one time configuration. After that, so I have completed all the configuration for first time, and then you can see the data viewer and cluster viewer. I'll show you. And after that, if the next record is coming, so you should not configure once, and if you don't want to configure again and again, so no need to configure. You can use this schedule and incremental update to schedule the process, entire process. So in the data viewer, what it will show? It will show your data results. So whatever results you mention, that results it will show. So you mentioned already that the two extra column, that is cleansing column and error column. So it is showing you full name, that is input column, full name cleansing column, and full name error column. So cleansing columns are already as you mentioned, it should be proper format, and all the space and all the special characters should be removed. Front end means initial and last space should be removed. So all those things has been happened here. And full address, if you see, so this is your full address, and this is your full address cleansed. So cleansed means we have our own format to clean the address, to standardize the address. If we are having 6 components to standardize the address, I will show you one of the report which will explain everything in details. So this way you can use your data viewer, and in the data viewer you can export this data directly. You can download from here. If you want to download only for a particular address, you can search by here and download. So in this way you can download your details. And next thing is cluster viewer. So whatever cluster has been formed, so those cluster will be available here. So you can see 17120 entry. So these many cluster has been formed under this cluster ID 2. These are the records, and similarly if you place next, this is the cluster ID 3, and these are the records. Similarly if you place this 7. So similarly if you want to see based on some cluster count, let's say 8, how many records are there, then it will show you these are the cluster count 8 with this many record. If you want to see if you want to search, I want to see the total number of record with 12 and search. So it will show you these are the this is the cluster which is having 12 number of records and cluster ID is 2. So in this way you can search your clusters and you can be able to see the results. Otherwise you can directly click next and you can see the different cluster with number of records, and this is your cluster ID and this is your records ID. You can again from here also you can download the entire report, or if you download only one cluster you can again filter the cluster by searching or this cluster count, and you can download those cluster details. So apart from these things, let me just open the reporter. Now the tool demo has completed. I will just show you in the report analysis what is happening. So let me open that folder. In the report analysis you can see so what is happening here is this is the input records which are there in the table. So customer address 1, customer address 2, customer address 3, city, state and zip code. So based on that what we have done is we have enriched, we have enhanced and we have added based on our lexicon, of course. So this is the final results which is having house number, house name, address component, landmark component, address relationship, area, city, pin code that is prefixed with a star, that is nothing but a StarDQ, and state and latitude and longitude. So these are the information which we are passing, we are getting from the enrichments. So you can see here this is enriched, these are all the enriched address. So means everywhere it has been mentioned like KAMH. So it has enriched to Karnataka, Maharashtra, like that. And enhance means so these are the things which are not there. So this was not there. This is additional we have done based on the area name and maybe city or pin code. It has got enriched. So it's purely based on lexicon. So this completes our data quality solution. Thank you for watching this video.